This is Marcus Kowal with Studio MMA and MMAnytt, and we're here in Las Vegas at the UFC headquarters with the president of UFC, Dana White, and we're here to talk mainly about UFC Sweden, obviously, which is the next UFC event to come up. And now, obviously, we had some fans coming in from the fans in Sweden, some questions coming in from the fans in Sweden, and one of them was, when can we expect the Ultimate Fighter Scandinavia?
Well, the thing that, you know what, the thing that sucks about the Sweden thing, I've never been to Sweden. I've always wanted to go to fucking Sweden.
You still haven't been there?
No, I've never been there.
Never
been to Sweden.
So 14th of April is going to be the first day.
First time I've ever set foot on Sweden fucking soil. And I will be there for like 5 hours.
Wow. So you don't even get to see Stockholm?
I'm not going to see anything. I'm going to go in, do the show, and then fly back out again. But it won't be our last trip to Sweden, so I'll see it next time, I guess.
That's another question, obviously.
Yeah, if the Ultimate Fighter wasn't running right now, it wouldn't be a problem. See, the next 13 weeks is what makes it really hard on me, because I go from the Friday fight right to some other destination in the world for our fight on Saturday.
That's crazy. But for the Ultimate Fighter, Brazil being the first international Ultimate Fighter, how's it been? Was differences?
It was awesome. You know, there really aren't a lot of differences other than the language. You
Really?
know? Yeah. It was pretty much the same. I think when you see it, you guys will, you know, it's the Ultimate Fighter.
So international fight fans will be able to see, not just the Brazilian fans, and not just in the United States as well. Other countries will be able to view the Ultimate Fighter Brazil.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you guys know how this sport is. You know, everybody wants to see everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that content will go up on UFC.com.
Right.
Right. And I think that's this Sunday, right? Yeah, this Sunday. The first episode of the Ultimate Fighter Brazil airs this Sunday on UFC.com.
Don't miss it. UFC.com.
And then Fuel TV picks it up this summer.
Wow. And Sweden, you mentioned it, you're not going to be the last time you go over there. Sold out in 3 hours. You know, it's filled the biggest arena in Sweden to date. Where'd you go from there with a country such as Sweden? What would be the next step?
Well, we want to go, you know, we're working on India and China right now. Korea, we want to go to. France is one we're working on hard.
Yeah, imagine. It's a huge, was it Thai boxing?
Yeah, when you were talking about 5 years, the 5 year, we'll have been in all those places in the next 5 years.
So can Sweden expect an annual show in Sweden, or is that how you, how does it work?
Well, it works like this. When you sell out tickets in 3 hours,
yeah,
we're fucking going back there. That's how it works. It's pretty much a no-brainer.
All right. The fight card, the main event, obviously, Alexander Gustafsson, who's the biggest name when it comes to Swedish mixed martial arts, headlining the show.
Let me tell you this before you even get into that. You know, I don't know how long you guys have been out here and what you've been doing out here and who you've been visiting and what you've been filming, but Forrest Griffin told us that he's been out here.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
He's here right now.
And he's been beating the living shit out of everybody. Forrest Griffin said, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
And he's been out here in Vegas kicking everybody's ass. So that's pretty interesting, huh?
He's out here, and there's a couple of other guys who are out here too. Like
he said people don't even want to spar with him.
Really?
He said he came to Las Vegas so he could, you know, work with all the best guys in the world and up his game. And I guess he's been out here beating the shit out of everybody. Like, people are like, yeah, I'm not fucking sparring with him today.
Wow. Wow. And his game is really going to be tested. A lot of fans actually feel that the switching opponent from Lil Nog to Thiago Silva is a step up in competition.
Isn't it funny how that happens? You know, we set a fight, and then when guys get injured, we're actually fortunate enough that we're able to slide somebody in that's usually even better than what the original fight was, you know?
How do you see it?
I think it's a sick fight. I mean, Thiago Silva's nasty. I mean, this guy is a very aggressive, you know, nasty fighter. I agree with whatever fans have been saying that. I agree. I love this fight. And
what about the rest of the Swedish fighters on the card? Another 4 fighters are on that card. How do you go about and find the fighters, Joe and
yeah, that's what Joe and Sean do. As we move into all these other territories now, and you watch, you know how big it is in Sweden. I don't. Okay.
Right.
You know how big it is in Sweden. However big you think it is in Sweden right now, wait till we put this event on. Every time we go into a new market and we put on an event, just starts this explosion of mixed martial arts, man. If you think it's big in Sweden now, wait till this event happens. Because from what you guys are telling me, I was in Calgary yesterday.
Right.
1,300 people showed up for the press conference. They were cheering like there was a fight going on. This Calgary, I'm so excited for this Calgary event, man. I just know this thing's going to be crazy. I'm actually already thinking that we're going to move the stage back for the weigh-ins, because I think if 1,300 people showed up for the press conference, imagine how many people are going to show up for the weigh-ins. Wow. You know, so it's probably going to be crazy up there. And I'm assuming from what you guys are telling me, I haven't been there yet, that Sweden will be just, you know, pretty much the same. Once you experience this event and you leave that arena that night, you're like, holy shit, that was incredible. The buzz and the energy. And then, you know, these people go and tell 10, 15 people about what they saw that night. Yeah. And it just really starts the entire buzz for mixed martial arts in every market we go to.
So you heard it, 1,300. That's the goal. We're going to break that in Sweden on the 13th of April for the weigh-ins.
Well, that was just the press conference.
That's true. That's the press conference.
That was just the press conference.
So what is it about the Canadian fans? What is it like? Toronto, we were up there for Toronto. You talk about how people talk about the sport. You know, just thinking about Mark Hominick coming out to "I'm Coming Home," it gives me goosebumps. Just thinking about it. What is it about the Canadian fans? 55,000 people in an arena.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, to do events like that, and I don't know if you guys saw that I announced yesterday that, you know, we're doing a soccer stadium in Rio for Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen, outdoors, soccer stadium, and I think this is one of those. The Chael Sonnen Anderson Silva fight, I think, will be one of the biggest sporting events of the year. I'm not talking
sporting events.
Sporting events. I'm talking NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, World Cup, Formula One, you name it. I think this is going to be one of the biggest sporting events of the year.
What's the goal? What's the projections? What's the numbers you guys are aiming for when it comes to views, gate?
Well, we're doing an 80,000 seat soccer stadium, 80,000 seats. And as far as I think the whole world wants to see this fight. Everybody's interested. I mean, we're in 175 different countries, in 22 different languages, and over 500 million homes worldwide on television. Wow. And I think, you know, wherever those fans are, in whatever countries they are, they want to see Chael versus Anderson.
And a lot of Brazilian fans obviously want to see Anderson's whooping Chael Sonnen's ass. It's no secret after everything's been said, and it's done a great job pumping up the fight. Do you guys feel you need to put in more security for Chael when he walks out to the arena?
Well, it's you know, obviously we're going to take all the precautions to make sure that he's safe. But, you know, let me tell you what, I don't think anything's going to happen to him down in Brazil. I think he's going to be just fine. I think the Brazilian fans would love to see Anderson beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? I think that's a fact. But I don't think that his life is in danger if he goes down to Brazil. No, you know?
No, probably not. Now, when it comes to safety, there was been some talk back and forth about safety of fighters not tapping. The one we saw was Miesha Tate versus Ronda Rousey. But the argument obviously is, you know, the fighter has the option to tap. What's your personal opinion about fighters obviously showing it's amazing not to tap, but, you know, an injury that's going to take from anywhere from 6 months to a year to heal up from?
I'm a big fan of tapping. You know what I mean? Listen, we all know how this sport works, and you know, if you've been rolling for any amount of time, you know when somebody's got a deep, tight armbar on you.
Yeah.
And you're able to tap in this thing. But if you don't tap, that's your option. You know? The ref is waiting to watch for your tap.
Right.
You know? No matter how much that arm's bending or what's happening, he's waiting for you to tap. Because we've all seen cases too. Miesha Tate's perfect. The first armbar she got out of. Yeah. And then continued to fight and punch and everything else. So it's up to you. If you want to be stupid or prideful and not tap, you absolutely, positively know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you surprised to see, you know, a woman actually staying there, not tapping, still not tapping, as the arm dislocated?
Now, the thing that I loved about them, you know, when we talk about women's MMA, I say the same thing all the time. there are not enough good women to create an entire division.
Right.
You know? But every once in a while, there will be a fight, and Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey was that fight. I mean, Miesha Tate, she's one of the best in the world in her weight class. She's tough, and she's nasty, man. I mean, to sit there, I know what it feels like to be in an arm bar. Yeah. Let me tell you what, I would have tapped to what she didn't tap to. So as much as you heard me say 2 minutes ago how stupid it is not to tap, you got to respect it too. And she got out of that first arm bar.
Yeah,
It'd be one thing if she got into that arm bar and was like, I'm not tapping. She got out of the first one.
Yeah.
You know, when Ronda Rousey gets you in an arm bar, that's serious shit.
Yeah. So you mentioned it, that there's not enough women to create a good division.
Enough really good women.
True. Really good women to make it an exciting event, right?
Well, no, to create a division. You don't have enough really good women to create a division. For instance, my best example is the heavyweight division. Because every other division I have is stacked with guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The heavyweight division has always been a division. It's hard to find really big, good, talented guys that aren't playing football or basketball or, you know, some other sport. Well, now our heavyweight division is at a point where, for instance, this heavyweight card that we're doing this summer.
Yeah.
People are like, oh shit, people are pumped about this card.
Yeah.
Every heavyweight fight is a great fight against great fighters. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. We don't have a deep enough women's division to where, you know, to be honest with you, I think we're going to be in a position with Ronda Rousey pretty soon where there's nobody exciting for her to fight.
Can you see her matching up against Chris Cyborg?
Yeah, that'll probably happen.
You think it will?
Oh yeah, I think that'll happen.
So
she'll make the weight.
Yeah. So say 5 years from now, or even 3 years from now, as the sport continues to grow, and you know, females as well as men continue to improve the level of the fight game, can you see one, a women's division in the UFC ever? I know we've spoken about it before, and two, potentially a women's Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about my 2 year, 5 year, you know, I have no idea. That's something I've never thought of. We'll have to see how women's MMA progresses. The fact that there is a Ronda Rousey and a Miesha Tate right now, and the things that I've been saying to you since we've been talking here on how big this thing's getting all over the world, and you know, there are lots of women training in this sport. Right. We'll see what happens.
So there is.
I hope the answer is yes.
Okay, so you would be for it as long as there's enough quality.
I'll tell you right now, you know, and I'll be 100% honest with you, I was never a fan, man. I was
really?
Never. I went to this show up in Northern California 7, 8 years ago, right? And there was this fight with these two girls, okay? One girl fought just like Randy Couture and looked just like Randy Couture, by the way. The other girl was this beautiful girl that looked like she took about 12 Taibo classes, okay? Wow. And it was one of the worst beatings I've ever seen, right? Now, sometimes people will say, oh, God, this sport's so brutal, I can't watch, when men are fighting. Yeah. Now, when you throw women in there and those type of fights happen with women, it's just, especially when you get a lopsided, you know, a lopsided fight. Yeah. And that's why I always say having a division. But I will tell you this, and just being honest, Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate have changed my mind. They have changed my mind. I was excited for that fight. Yeah. It was an awesome fight. Yes. They both look like two skilled mixed martial artists, and they changed my mind. So if more Miesha Tates and more Ronda Rouseys keep popping up, the answer would be yes. I mean, come on. Let's be honest here. You know, do you want to be a fucking football player throwing a football around? Or do you want to be the heavyweight champion of the fucking world? I mean, seriously. Is there any debate?
But, you know, like you said, you don't like to talk about it, and it's not any, you know, it's not people's business. But you give out bonuses in the locker rooms to great fights, to fight of the night. Now it's becoming a little bit more known, but you've done it for years, and you kind of kept it under the radar. Yeah. Why?
Because it's nobody's business.
But
how much money guys make? Believe me, when we first, let me tell you this story. When we first did the deal with Fox.